planned for a presentation because we were called in for a panel. Okay, so first of all, thank you, eINDIA and Government of Maharashtra for giving us this opportunity to be here in this event and share our views on smart infrastructure and smart cities. This, I believe, with due permission of the chair, one of the most difficult sessions to be sitting in, especially on this side of the dais, because I'm sure, after a hefty lunch, it would be fairly difficult to keep your eyes open. What I'll not assist you is with a presentation on SAP, which for sure will put you to sleep. Just a few pointers. SAP has been in India for more than 17 years. We are one of the largest enterprise application companies. Most of the largest companies in India as well as globally are on SAP. Some of our best kept secrets is we have nearly 300 plus government customers in India. And here in Mumbai, we have the largest municipal corporation as well running on SAP. So that's a brief introduction. We are globally working with the government organizations to see how cities could be made smarter. Few thoughts on it before I could hand it back to you. Cities actually, if you look at history, cities have always been built on competitive advantage. We've somehow, in all our narrations, we are talking about making every city have an infrastructure which is common. But if you look back at every city, you would find that there is a competitive advantage. And that competitive advantage could be because of their particular location in the geography, or a closeness or availability of a natural resource. It could be because of being at a very strategic point from a trade perspective, whether close to a port, close to a railway station, close to an airport, or in today's world close to having a very, very good network to lean on for the trade. Or the competitive advantage could be from a perspective of a human resource or a skill available which is not available anywhere else. So today actually cities are competing with each other because network is available everywhere. That's why a company, a successful company like Uber is expanding at a rate at which it is. Because in 2 years, reaching so many countries and reaching so many cities was virtually impossible earlier. Because if you had an idea, it used to take that much longer to get percolated down to every country in every city, and every app and every mobile phone and with every one of the customers. So the bigger task in front of us is actually to look at why a particular city is competitive or uncompetitive. And then the planners along with us need to sit together to understand what do we want this city to be smarter with. And there will be some commonalities from a perspective of an infrastructure. That could be transport and logistics. It could be human resource and education. It could be from a perspective of a particular industry which finds competitiveness in a particular city, or the way the administration runs or the micro of a administration is a municipal corporation, how well it is run and how well does it support the citizens who are living in that city. So what we need to focus actually is on competitive advantage rather than the infrastructure, because infrastructure is something that would come. Smart people with smarter ideas like Uber would come and they will exploit the infrastructure which is inherently available in a city and make it a thriving metropolis. So the focus has to be on competitive advantage. I will just take a couple of more minutes to give you an example of these 4 areas where I believe competitive advantage can help a city become smarter and keep its competitive edge vis-a-vis the competition that's facing worldwide. Let's take an example of, say, transport and logistics. So if you take a port city, for example, we have worked in Hamburg, which is Europe's 2nd largest port. There would always be a dichotomy from a perspective of port wants to turn around ships faster. The city administration wants to keep its chaos levels to the lowest. So both these arms of a city, they need each other, but their aims are absolutely different. I would like less and less traffic on my roads, but the containers have to be turned around for ships to come and go. So when a smart city discussion happens, the decision makers or planners have to look at both the objectives that we have and then look for a solution that will cater to both. So what we did was we worked with the port city of Hamburg. We had IT and OT integration on many aspects like smart fences, identity of a container, tracking the containers, looking at traffic management, looking at parking management as well, to see how we could meet both the KPIs of a city as well as a KPI of the port, because they need to keep their competitive advantage. So that's one example of how we need to think through for every city separately. Second point that I mentioned was around health and education. Lot of focus in India today is on how to set up more hospitals. More hospitals basically are needed, very, very important. We need AIIMS in every city, and we need private sector to also expand. But the more important piece would be how do we prevent it? So how do we have predictive on top of what KPIs we can monitor from the data that's coming, and then predict that disease patterns, or how they're, what can cause what kind of diseases across. So we did a pilot in India with one of the state governments where we monitored a child's health on specific parameters across the schools. And we had a very simple input device given to every health worker, and we actually were collecting on a periodic basis KPIs of kids and uploading it onto the cloud, our own platform, and doing a predictive analytics in terms of seeing how weather patterns, how various symptoms and things like that are going to impact overall health of a community. These kind of infrastructures are very, very easy. Entry-level barriers are actually zero, because everything is available on cloud, and this can be done and needs to be done for every smart city. It's not only post-facto disease. We need to also see how we have predictive models in place already for a city to look after the health of their citizens. Third piece, I would not dwell too much deeper into the municipal corporation piece. We have automated at what level in Mumbai city all the services that are provided to citizens. So we've done that already. We are working with them on the next phase of automation, and for across India. But the industry piece as well. Industry's competitiveness is something that that we are plugged in very, very deep, because most of the conglomerates today are running on SAP. Just to give you a very, very small glimpse, whether it is design board of a product or a service, or it is procurement, or manufacturing, or the way you have a touch point with your customer, every point in this entire chain is actually undergoing a complete disruption as we speak. So today, we have the procurement networks like Ariba available, where you can open up the sourcing to across the world, and you can source from the most competitive place. That will bring that edge of competitiveness in your offering. You have Europe already adopted 4.0 from which we heard the speakers in the morning about. That's basically IT-OT integration. So business used to function separate from the way manufacturing was. Now we have ability at very, very low cost to integrate this entire thing. And that's one area where Europe, specifically Germany, where SAP has roots in. We have actually partnered with the Make in India of PM Modi's vision to see how we can bring that to India and make sure that Indian industries get that competitive advantage vis-a-vis all the global competitors from China and all other countries that we are going to face from a smart manufacturing standpoint. Won't take more time, just last closing thoughts before I give it off to the chair back. One is, all these discussions are good till the time execution is something that we need to focus on as a group. Few pointers before I hand over back. One, smart cities, smart infrastructure don't have a best practices for us to follow yet. These are concepts which are on the design board. You have companies like Uber and a lot of other companies who are today evolving as we speak, and they're taking advantage of the situation today. So it won't have a best practices. The scope that the government defines from making a city smarter would be a very fluid scope, and that would need a very broad industry and government participation for us to arrive at a particular scope, and everybody has to take a leap of faith that we will together run towards a particular scope, And then if there are changes in between, we'll have to have the flexibility to make it a win for everybody. So that piece, industry consultation is very, very important. Uh, it is very important that the risk and return is also shared between industry and government, because no longer you can give a purchase order to a partner and say, make my city smarter, and then say, okay, show me how you do it, because it's impossible, because there's no reference to touchback. One city would have done it in a particular way, your city would do it in a different way. So the risk and return piece has to be agreed upon by all the stakeholders. And lastly, we have to make it win-win, because all of us in this room have seen IT industry struggle delivering e-governance projects across the country. Most of the large Indian SIs as well as MNCs like ourselves have partnered with government, but many of them have come out fairly wounded from a perspective of making it financially viable for them to keep invested in large e-governance projects. Very important that government shows flexibility and engages us early in a transparent way and shares the risk as well for us to make these smarter cities a reality. Thank you.